My name is Rita Cabezas. I'm a Christian psychologist and I have my private practice here in Costa Rica. Why Costa Rica? My mother's an American. She was born in Cave Rock, Illinois. My father, Costa Rican. He was born in San Jose, Costa Rica. And he went to the U.S. to study medicine. So he started out in Wheaton College and then went on to other universities to complete his medical studies. He met my mom. He proposed. He said, I'd like you to be my wife, but you must understand that I became a doctor to be a doctor in Costa Rica. So if you want to marry me, you have to come to Costa Rica. And she accepted. So when they came, I was 5 years old. So I grew up in Costa Rica. I'm very thankful that my parents decided to speak English at home so that we could be bilingual, because obviously living in Costa Rica we would pick up the language in Spanish. So at 16 I went to Greenville College, Illinois, a Free Methodist college, and then I got my bachelor's degree in University of South Florida in Tampa. Then I came to Costa Rica and I got my licenciatura to practice psychology here in Costa Rica. So how did I come into the deliverance ministry? Well, that's a long story, but let me just start telling you a few things. I was in my office one day, at night actually, 10 o'clock at night. It was, there were a lot of offices in that building. There was nobody else at that time, at that place. And I was closing up. I took my client's hand. She was a Christian, so I took her hand and I started praying for her that God would bless what we had done during her session. All of a sudden, this voice starts talking to me. And it wasn't hers. And the voice said, "Shut up! This is my home. Don't bother me." Something to that effect. Well, at least I had enough discernment to understand that was not the woman. That was a demon. Even though I grew up in a Christian church, I never ever seen a demon manifested. That was not a practice in my church. So this really caught me off guard. But I discerned it and I did the best I could. I was very frightened, obviously. This had never happened to me before. And I said something to the effect of, "In the name of Jesus, I cast you out. You have no right being in this woman, and I have nothing to talk about with you, and just leave," something like that. And the woman opened her eyes, and it was the woman again. It wasn't the demon manifested. So she said, "What just happened?" And I said, "It's very late, so why don't we talk about this next time?" Because I really didn't know what on earth I was going to say. I had no idea if she believed that demons could get into people, and I wasn't about to start on this. So she left. I grabbed my Bible. I hugged it, because I felt it gave me protection. I had no idea if the demon was still lurking around there. I didn't know how this worked, but that was my very first encounter with a demon. And since then, God has done a lot of other things to teach me about demons, about the reality of demons entering people, confusing their minds, their emotions, attacking their bodies. So this is how it all began. I want to share something that just happened. God asked me to do a 40-day fast. He said, "I want you to do this fast. I don't want you to eat for 40 days. I know you have to work, so if you feel weak, then take a few sips of a natural drink like, carrot juice or green juice, or vegetable broth." So basically that's what I did. Some days I didn't even drink water, some days only water, and some days I took sips of juice or vegetable broth. There was only one day where I really felt sick, and I had to get into bed, and somebody had to bring me a little bit of juice and vegetable broth. And then after a few hours, I was fine and continued and finished. Well, I have a client who also did a 40-day fast at the same time. She did a vegan fast, so she did eat, but she ate vegan style. 40 days, and during those 40 days, she engaged in spiritual warfare with the spirit Jezebel. Why Jezebel? Because this client is a prophet, and because of her prophetic gifting, Jezebel has attacked her all the years of her life. So I convinced her to do this 40-day fast. I did my fast, and we set an appointment to confront Jezebel. And it was great because obviously there was a lot of spiritual power on my side, on her side. Jezebel manifested. We fought spiritually, and then she finally gave over. She had to say through the woman's mouth, I give my stronghold to Jesus, her Lord. And then she left. So that was a great victory. We used this spiritual weapon, fasting. And it's important that Christians use this weapon, fasting. It's a very strong weapon. I think it's the strongest one we have. That's why Jesus used it when he had to confront Satan. He fasted 40 days on water. And there's other people in the Bible. Moses fasted 40 days and nights without even water. So obviously, God sustained him in a spiritual way, supernatural way. We have Daniel fasting vegan style as well, water and vegetables. So Esther did 3 days with nothing, not even water, and we all know how that turned out, the great victory. So let's not forget that we have this great spiritual weapon, and we need to start taking it seriously. We need to develop self-control and the conviction that when we fast, a lot of spiritual power is released, and God can use that. So basically, this is what I had to say today as a start to reaching out to English-speaking people.